JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 6th of October 2021. So welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So you have to check us out here on jfdbank.com. and click on the research tab right there on the top. So now then, jumping into the chart, so quick update on Nikkei 225. So the index did recover somewhat initially, but then drifted back down. As you can see, it ended the day again. It did pierce through that 27,481 level that I mentioned before, which is the low of the 27th of August, but closed above it again. So far, basically, this means that this hurdle is doing its job and providing decent support. If it continues to do so, then maybe we could see a little rebound here and a push back up. However, if the index, let's say, makes its way a little bit higher here, goes for that little corrective move higher, then yes, we'll keep an eye on this downside line, which if holds could attract the sellers again, and we could see maybe another slide like this. So let's see if this is going to play out like that. However, I will abandon this scenario if we see a straightaway move and a daily close below this 27,481 territory, and then yes, my next target will be this the lowest point of August near the 26,955 level. Either way, basically, I'm still aiming for that level, but again, it depends on how we're going to perform near this area here, near this 27,481 zone. So let's continue monitoring that one. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index is trading in the red. However, as you can see, yesterday, for example, it managed to stay above this hurdle, this 23,771 level. I talked about it. That's the lowest point of September. Yes, we did kind of shoot through it a little bit here, but it's still the daily candle, the close was above it, and even though today, let's say, we're seeing a bit of a decline, we're still trading above this hurdle. So in a similar fashion like with Nikkei, Hong Kong's Hang Seng here is finding good support for now. So let's see if it continues to do its job and provide a hold up. But if it eventually fails and we see the daily candle closing, and kind of the index closing below this hurdle, then well, I mean, my next target here could be this lowest point of September of 2020, guys, and then of course we'll take it from there. For the upside, what I would need to see here is a push at least back above this 24,695 level right here, marked by the high of the 29th of September. And then we could take it from there, and we could then aim for that this downside line here, taken from the high of the 28th of June, and then of course, like I said, we'll have to see what it wants to do after it, because again, if this downside line continues to provide resistance, then certainly another slide could be possible. However, if it gets broken, then it could open the door towards some higher levels. But again, we'll get to that point. For now, all eyes are on this hurdle, this 23,771 zone. Let's see if that continues to hold. the German index DAX, and yep, as you can see nicely here, we had a nice beautiful recovery after again testing this hurdle, this area near that psychological 15,000 mark, and yep, the index pushed back up. It climbed higher, ended the day kind of closer to this 15,246 level, the one that I talked about yesterday. And if we take a look at the cash index right now, let me just quickly jump into that, and yeah, we'll see that actually the price of the cash index is drifting back down. So this is quite interesting. So basically we're still stuck in this little area here, still above that psychological 15,000 mark, but yep, below yesterday's close, and I would say quite decently below that. So for now, I would say keep your eyes on these two areas. For the downside, I'm still sticking to my to the same kind of scenario. I need to see a nice good drift below that psychological 15,000 mark, and also maybe a drop below this 200-day EMA here shown as the black line, and then yes, potentially could attract more sellers into the game here. So, and then we could aim for that lowest point of May of this year near the 14,816, and then we'll take it from there. But again, that's in terms of the downside. In terms of the upside, I will wait for that push above that 15,246, or you can round it up towards the 50 zone, so to 15,250. A nice good push above it may lead to a larger correction to the upside. Now jumping into S&P 500, so we had a nice recovery yesterday as well here on the US index. As you can see now, we are just basically oscillating around this 100-day EMA. So since probably since the 30th of September, the index is just kind of moving around that EMA, and this is where one of those moments where we are not going to really focus on the EMA here, and instead kind of keep an eye on the on one of the support and resistance levels. So for the downside, if you're looking for some lower levels, well, probably the safer option here could be to wait for a drop below the 4,279 level right here, which is the current lowest point of this this week. And for the upside, I would like to see at least maybe a push above this barrier, this 4,367 68 zone, which, as you can see, somehow did its job yesterday and provided resistance. And that level is the lowest, the low of August, or actually the lowest point of August. So, so long story short, a nice good pop above it. Yep, may open the door towards higher levels, but this is the point where this downside line could come in here as well, and something that we would need to kind of keep an eye on. So basically, if that gets broken as well, then certainly yes, higher levels could be met. But if it provides resistance again, then well, well, we might see another slide. So let's see how that's going to play out. The cash index is currently trading at around 4,320 territory. So basically not, well, actually near this, actually below this 100-day EMA again. So so yeah, there we go. So we're kind of somewhere around here right now in the cash index. Let's see how, like I said, let's see how today's day is going to play out. But at the moment, I'm taking a bit of a kind of I'm standing away from this one, and I'm going to wait for a violation of one of my levels here before kind of considering let's say the next short-term directional move here. But in terms of the upside, I mean, I wouldn't say here a very directional move here, but just maybe a pop a little bit higher. But so yeah, let's see how, like I said, let's keep an eye on these two levels for now. DXY, the dollar index, so a nice beautiful rebound, continues to move above this upside line here, the one that I talked about. But the same story as yesterday. I will stick to the same idea that in order to aim for some higher levels, I would need to see a nice good push above this 94.50 level, just to be a little bit more on the safe side, because we already had quite a steep up move here. So let's see how that's going to play out. Of course, keep your eyes on today's agenda and today's economic news. We do have the ADP non-farm employment change numbers coming out. So yep, those are going to be quite interesting to see. Currently, the expectation is for a higher number than the previous. So yeah, check out the economic calendar, guys. I mean, let's see if that's going to have any effect on the US dollar, or will it actually just sit around and wait until we get closer to Friday for the non-farm payrolls. But again, let's for now let's stick to this what we have here. And the moment, the technical picture here on DXY is that yes, we are still trending higher, but in order to get a little bit more comfortable with the upside, I would rather wait for a push above the highest point of September 1st, which is around the 94.50 level. Jumping into gold, gold is seen to be declining here a little bit. However, it's still above this downside line, the one that I drawn here in the beginning of this week. If you remember, I talked about this one, and I said that in a way, given that we've broken this this downside line, there is a chance for this one to move a little bit higher. However, I would prefer to wait for a push above that 1776 level. So so yeah, this is exactly one of those situations where we need to wait. We need to wait for a break, for a violation of one of our, let's say, levels here, in this particular case, a resistance level, and we didn't really move towards it that much, and instead we started drifting lower. However, we're kind of sliding right now alongside this downside line on top of it, and let's see if this is gonna be seen as a little trampoline here, and we'll rebound from it and push higher. So we've seen these scenarios happen in the past. So again, let's see if this is going to be the case as well. Yeah, for now I'm careful with this. However, if the commodity starts falling sharply below this downside line and falls below the 1745 level, somewhere around here, then, well, maybe I'll stick to the downside, at least in the near term. Yep, Evu, good morning to you too. Good morning to everybody. So yep, I hope everybody's having a wonderful start of Wednesday, guys. So yep, WTI oil. So WTI oil continues its journey north, and if you remember yesterday, I drawn this Fibonacci extension. So basically, what I am aiming here for is if we draw it this way, because again, you could draw it in several other ways, to be honest, but for me, this one looks the more appropriate one. However, let's see if that's going to work out. That's the most important, of course, because again, for now, I'm aiming for this 81.37 level, which is the 100% here on the Fibonacci extension. Let's see if that's going to, if the price is going to reach that. And basically what I said to you yesterday, if you remember, that as long as we stay above this hurdle, the 76.95 level, yep, we will that's the highest point, the previous highest point of this year. Yep, if we stay above it, then we'll continue targeting the upside. So far, this is working out. However, if we by any chance fall below this hurdle, below the 76.95 or even the 76.88 level, which is, by the way, the highest point of October, oh sorry, not October, but the highest point of 2018. If we drop below it, then yep, we'll go for a bit of a larger correction here to the downside. Now jumping into Ripple very quickly. So good push yesterday above this 1.0520 level. I talked about it previously. So we're now still resting above that hurdle. can we go higher? Well, I would say like this: as long as we stay above this hurdle, then yes, there is a decent chance for this crypto to continue its journey north, but not really drastically. I mean, slowly, but we'll be very, very careful in terms of, let's say, any news. We'll watch out for any news, crypto-related news, of course, and yep, we'll see if this won't suddenly, let's say, reverse south again. So, long story short, for now, what I'm keeping an eye on here is, of course, this hurdle, this 1.0520. But if you're a little bit more on the safe side, or you want to be a little bit more on the safe side, you could keep an eye on the current highest point of October near the 1.0992 level, and a nice good pop above it. Yep, may open the door towards higher levels. Jumping into AUDCHF, guys. So yeah, this is where we're gonna pick up on some of these pairs. So previously, when I looked at AUDCHF, I talked about this little short-term downside line taken from the high of the 7th of September. What I said before, that if it gets broken, then certainly higher levels could be met. At the moment, it seems like it's doing exactly that. It is pushing higher. However, after we broke this this downside line, then we kind of drifted back below it, and then we climbed back above it. So basically, it's kind of showing that the pair is ignoring this downside line, so it might as well get rid of it. And instead, what I will draw here is this little short-term upside line here, taken from the high of, taken from the low of the 21st of September. Now, I would like to draw maybe a channel here as well, a little short-term channel like this. However, it's not an ideal one, so that's why I'm gonna kind of keep this away for now. And basically, if in order to, let's say, aim for higher levels, then certainly a push somewhere above this high of the 28th of September near the 0.6774 level, which is, as you can see, currently acting as a very nice area of resistance. If we break that, then yes, we'll go for some higher levels. My next target will be this, the highest point of September near the 0.6825 level. Before that, we do have these two EMAs. However, let's see if they will do any harm here for the bulls, because yes, previously here, for example, at the beginning of September, the 100-day EMA together with the 200-day EMA did kind of hold off the buyers. Will that be the case again? Well, again, we'll have to wait and see. But before we could aim for that, for these two EMAs, then yes, certainly a break of this 0.6774 level is needed, and then yeah, we'll slowly start grinding higher. For the downside on this one, now preferably maybe somewhere a drop below this hurdle, the 0.6690 zone, could do the trick for a few more sellers. However, to be honest, I might change this level later on, depending on how we're going to move here above this upside line. But for sure, if this upside line gets broken, then what I'll aim for here will be this 0.6664 level, which marks the low of the 21st of September. And then we'll take it from there, of course. And actually, that's the lowest point of September as well. So just to double check, yep, there we actually, let me just quickly double check. So this is 0.6664. The first September low here was, there we go. So no, it's not. Yes, it is the lowest point of September. So that's the 31st of August here. So basically, long story short, guys, that's gonna be what this is exactly what I'm gonna be aiming for if we get a little break here below this upside line. But for now, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the upside. But a break of this barrier is needed. Now, jumping into NZDUSD, of course, the headlines here are around the RBNZ interest rate decision. So they finally managed to raise it, but of course this is in regards to trying to maintain and control employment and inflation. Let's see how that's gonna further impact the currency here and the whole economy. But for now, let's say looking at the NZDUSD, the one that I looked at in the beginning of this week on Monday, basically what I talked about previously was that if we push a little bit higher here but find resistance somewhere near this 0.6982 level or near this downside line taken from the high of the 16th of September, then yes, another slide here could be possible, and so far this idea is working out. Again, don't get me wrong, I mean it might still let's say find support somewhere near this inside swing high here of the 30th of September near the 0.6922 level. If it continues, let's say, to get a hold up somewhere here, then, well, maybe a nice rebound here might be possible again, where we could revisit this downside line again, and then we'll have to decide what it wants to do after. Maybe it actually will eventually break this downside line. However, let's not rush into anything. For now, like I said, given that we already had a bit of a decline here, all eyes right now are on this 0.6922 level, which is the inside swing high of the 30th of September. If we drop below it and comfortably stay below it, then yes, further declines could be possible. Where my next target will be this lowest point of September near the 0.6860 level. USDCHF, very quickly on that one. So far, this is what I've removed all the previous drawings, and so far the pair is trying to make its way higher. It seems to be trading inside this rising wedge pattern. However, of course, as we know, these patterns tend to break to the downside. Well, most of the times they still sometimes don't work out as according to all the TA rules, but nevertheless still the greater chance is for this one to break out to the downside. However, until we see a violation of the lower side of this rising wedge, we cannot really assume that idea, or not assume, but we cannot really take that idea as a correct one. For now, as long as it stays inside this pattern, we will continue aiming for the upside. US dollar against the Mexican peso, something that I have looked at previously, but really haven't looked at for quite a while. Let me just remove all the drawings here, but basically it's quite an interesting one here, because first of all, we're if we take just a look at the blank chart here, we're trading nicely. We're forming after kind of reversing in mid-September, we started forming higher lows and higher highs. I could draw some upside lines here, but for now, probably I'm just gonna keep it just kind of fresh like this. And what I'm keeping an eye on here right now is this highest point of October near the 20.73 level. A nice good pop above it, then yes, could open the door towards higher levels. However, also keep your eyes on this little obstacle here, the highest point of June, which is not far from this the highest point of October, the current highest point of October. So this highest point of June, this is at 20.75 level, approximately around here. And yeah, if we clear that one also, then certainly it could continue climbing higher, where the next target could be this highest point, actually not the highest point, but the high of the 24th of March near the 20.97 level, and then we'll take it from there. However, that's in terms of the upside, and basically a violation of this area here is needed. So let's keep an eye on that one for the downside. Now, certainly we'll keep an eye on the current lowest point of October near the 20.41 zone, and a nice good drop below it may open the door towards maybe back towards this 200-day EMA, or even a little bit lower. But let's see how that's going to play out. For now, I'm leaning a little bit more to the upside rather than the downside. However, a break of this resistance area here is required. GBP CAD, haven't looked at this one for quite a while, but basically this is one of those examples where I said that when a rising wedge tends to break to the downside, and that's according to all the TA rules. So basically we got that break here a while ago, as you can see, and then we drifted nicely to the downside. We have found support somewhere near this 1.7051 level from where we rebounded. However, as you can see, although we got a few overshots above this 1.7150 zone, which is the low of the 21st of July, still somehow it is acting as a good area of resistance. So in a way, that means that there maybe we're not really done with the downside yet. However, at this point, looking at this picture, I mean, we did have already quite a steep down move here, but in order to aim for lower levels, certainly I would rather wait for a drop below the lowest point of September near the 1.7051 zone, and then aim for the downside. We do have an obstacle here on the way lower near the 1.70, well, 1720 maybe, if you want to round it up here a little bit. So this is the little obstacle here. If that gets cleared as well, then yes, lower levels could be met. But of course, keep your eyes on the situation in UK and keep an eye on the oil market as well. If oil continues to rally, then yes, we could see this pair moving to the downside again. And finally, EURUSD, guys, so very quickly on that one. So did have a nice little recovery here on Monday, but yesterday we drifted back down, and today we're continuing that journey. So the question here is, can we drop below this current, well, actually the lowest point of September near the 1.1563 level? If we can, then yes, this will confirm a forthcoming lower low and open the door towards lower levels. But at the moment, guys, I mean, let's be very careful, let's be vigilant, and let's see if this downside line also will continue to provide or show the direction. But I would rather wait for a drop below the 1.1563 level before aiming lower. So let's see how that's going to play out, guys. For the upside, pretty straightforward. The break of this downside line taken from the high of the 14th of September would be needed in order to consider maybe a bit of a larger correction to the upside. And the reason why I'm saying correction, because we're still trading below this tentative downside line taken from the high of the 1st of June. So guys, that's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, guys. Your views, your likes, your comments really do really help a lot. So yep, thank you very much for that. If you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as always, at my Trader's Espresso, that's 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a wonderful trading day, stay safe, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.